Hello and welcome everybody to another episode of Books and Bytes.
Ah, yes.
Today we're diving into a true epic,
Okay.
the Shahnameh, or Book of Kings,
Right.
a cornerstone of Persian literature.
It's a sprawling tale, this one,
I'll bet.
covering the mythical and historical kings of Persia
Wow.
from creation to the 7th century.
So we're talking a long time span here.
Yeah, we are.
What are the big ideas
Well,
that echo throughout this massive work?
I think the Shahnameh really grapples with ideas like the cyclical nature of history,
Okay.
the constant battle between good and evil, and
Right.
the dangers of pride and ambition.
Right.
But it also celebrates Persian identity,
Yeah.
valor, and chivalry.
Interesting.
It's a complex tapestry of stories that
Yeah.
reflect the human condition.
Okay, I'm already hooked.
Good.
Where does this grand saga begin?
The epic starts with King Timoris,
Okay.
who establishes peace and order,
Hmm.
subduing even mythical beings like demons and Paris. But it's his son Jamshid who truly captivates us. Imagine a king who brings advancements like metalworking and shipbuilding,
Wow.
even crafting a flying throne.
A flying throne.
Yeah,
Now that's what I call thinking outside the box.
I like that.
I'm guessing such innovation might have gone to his head a bit.
Jamshid's accomplishments lead to a dangerous pride.
Oh?
He boasts, claiming to be the source of all good in the world.
Oh, no.
This hubris angers God,
Oh.
ultimately leading to his downfall,
Oh, wow.
a theme that resonates throughout the Shahnameh.
So even the most brilliant rulers can stumble.
It seems so.
What happens after Jamshid falls from grace?
Enter the villain,
Okay.
Zohak, a figure tempted by Iblis,
Okay.
the Shahnameh's embodiment of evil.
I see.
Zohak usurps the throne and plunges Persia into darkness.
Wow.
His most unsettling feature,
Oh.
snakes sprouting from his shoulders.
Snakes. Okay, that's officially nightmare fuel.
Yeah, it's a pretty potent symbol of his poisonous tyranny.
What happens to Jamshid?
Zohak captures and brutally kills Jamshid,
Oh, my goodness.
marking a dark period for Persia.
So bleak.
However, a glimmer of hope emerges with Kaveh,
Yeah.
a blacksmith who leads a rebellion against Zohak's oppression,
Interesting.
paving the way for a new hero,
Okay, who's that?
Ferdowsi.
Ferdowsi.
Yeah,
So Kaveh is like the people's champion,
that's a good way to put it.
the spark that ignites the resistance.
Precisely.
Awesome.
Ferdowsi, raised in secret, is destined to overthrow the tyrannical Zohak.
Okay.
He confronts the Serpent King wielding a mace with a cow's head.
With what?
A cow's head?
A cow's head on his mace.
Yeah,
Okay.
a powerful symbol of good overcoming evil.
This cow imagery is intriguing.
Oh, yeah.
Is there a deeper meaning there?
In ancient Persian culture, the cow was sacred,
Okay.
representing fertility, abundance, and nourishment.
Right.
Ferdowsi, wielding a cow-headed mace, elevates his fight.
I see.
Beyond a simple power struggle,
Interesting.
it becomes a battle for a righteous cause, for the restoration of balance.
It's like the Shahnameh uses these everyday objects to weave in deeper cultural and symbolic meaning.
Yeah, you could say that.
What happens after Ferdowsi's victory?
Well,
Does peace finally prevail?
unfortunately, Ferdowsi's reign is marked by a tragic conflict between his sons,
Okay.
Salmtur and Eri.
3 sons.
Yeah.
Well,
His favoritism towards Eri incites his other sons to murder him, setting off a cycle of vengeance that will haunt generations to come.
This sounds like a reflection of the Shahnameh's idea of history repeating itself.
Yes.
The consequences of past actions rippling into the future.
Exactly.
And it is from this cycle of vengeance that the most celebrated hero of the Shahnameh emerges. Rustam.
Yes, Rustam, a descendant of Eri.
Rustam.
You know him.
I've heard whispers of his legend.
Of course.
What makes him so extraordinary?
His story begins with a remarkable birth.
Okay.
Abandoned as a baby, he's raised by the Simurgh.
By a what?
The Simurgh, a mythical bird of immense power,
Wow.
granting him superhuman strength and unmatched skill.
Raised by a mythical bird.
Yes.
That's certainly a unique origin story.
It was a good one.
What are some of Rustam's early feats?
Even as a youth,
Okay.
he slays a monstrous lion and defeats a dragon,
Wow.
marking him as a formidable warrior.
So he starts early.
Yeah, he does.
His most defining act is the freeing of King Kakavuz,
Right.
who was imprisoned by the white demon of Mazandaran.
A tough one.
That's tough.
It's a perilous journey filled with fantastical obstacles,
Oh, wow.
each a testament to Rustam's courage and resourcefulness.
It sounds like a classic hero's journey,
Mm-hmm.
like Odysseus facing trials and tribulations.
That's a great comparison.
Hey.
Rustum's journey is filled with symbolic significance,
Okay.
representing the hero's confrontation with his own mortality and the forces of chaos threatening the world.
Right.
But in the Shahnameh, triumphs are often intertwined with sorrow,
Oh.
especially in the tale of Sohrab.
Okay, Rustum's son.
Here's where things get really interesting.
They do.
Tell me about Sohrab.
Sohrab's story is a tragedy of epic proportions.
Oh, no.
Raised in the enemy's court, unaware of his true parentage.
Right.
Fate brings him face to face with his father on the battlefield.
Oh, no, this is sounding like a classic case of dramatic irony.
Is.
You just know something terrible is going to happen.
Sadly, you're right.
Oh, man.
The Shahnameh doesn't shy away from the brutal realities of war.
Right.
The duel between Rustum and Sohrab is filled with tension.
Oh, I bet.
Both heroes displaying incredible skill.
Wow.
Yet it ends with Rustum unknowingly delivering the fatal blow to his own son.
That's heartbreaking.
It is a tough one.
I can't even imagine the devastation of that discovery.
No.
What happens after this tragic duel?
Imagine Rustum's grief when he realizes his fatal mistake.
Oh, gosh.
Sohrab, with his dying breath,
Yeah.
simply asks for recognition for his father to honor his memory.
And let the world know he wasn't just a nameless foe.
This moment speaks volumes about the destructive nature of war,
Yeah.
how it can blind us to the humanity of those we fight against.
Exactly.
And this is just one of many interconnected tales in the Shahnameh.
There are so many.
It's a vast tapestry of human experience,
It really is.
encompassing everything from political intrigue to passionate love stories.
Absolutely.
So what comes after the tragedy of Rustum and Sohrab?
Wow.
Does the Shahnameh offer any moments of respite from this cycle of vengeance?
The epic continues to unfold,
Yeah.
encompassing tales of triumph and tragedy, love and loss.
Okay.
We witness Kai Khosrau's escape from Turan
Wow.
and his eventual rise to the throne,
Amazing.
a testament to resilience and the enduring pursuit of justice.
I see.
We encounter the poignant love story of Bijan and Manijah,
Okay.
their love defying social boundaries and enduring despite hardship.
It's fascinating how the Shahnameh balances these grand narratives of war and kingship with these intimate stories of human connection and emotion.
Exactly. And these stories aren't merely entertaining.
Right.
They serve a larger purpose.
Okay.
Take, for instance, the famous line from the story of Bijan and Manijah.
Yeah.
Whoever plants a seed of kindness gathers a harvest of joy.
Wow.
This seemingly simple verse encapsulates the Shahnameh's emphasis on ethical conduct and the lasting impact of our actions.
It's incredible how a single line can carry so much weight, encapsulating a core theme of the epic.
It really does.
Well, before we get too lost in the poetry,
Okay.
where do these stories lead us in the larger narrative?
We eventually reach a pivotal turning point in the epic.
Okay.
The arrival of the prophet Zoroaster,
Wow.
marking a shift from the mythical realm to a more historical context.
Okay, now this is where myth and history intertwine.
It is.
I'm eager to hear more about this transition.
It begins with King Gushtasp,
Okay.
who embraces Zoroaster's teachings, and the new faith spreads. Legend even tells of Zoroaster planting a miraculous tree.
A miraculous tree.
Yeah.
Okay.
Symbolizing the growth of his teachings.
This miraculous tree sounds like another example of the Shahnameh's rich symbolism.
You got it.
I'm guessing it's not just about a literal tree, right?
You're right.
Okay.
The tree represents the flourishing of the new faith,
Mm-hmm.
but it also foreshadows the conflict to come.
Uh-oh.
Gushtasp's conversion triggers a war with Arjasp,
Okay.
who clings to the old faith,
Right.
highlighting the clash between tradition and change,
Yeah.
a recurring theme in the Shahnameh.
It's a timeless conflict.
It is.
The tension between old and new faith and reason.
Mm-hmm.
How does this war unfold?
A new hero is Fandiar.
It's Fandiar.
Gushtasp's son emerges embodying courage and military prowess.
I see.
He undertakes the seven labors,
The seven labors
known as Heftkan,
have come.
a series of trials testing his strength and cunning.
Wow.
Imagine him battling wolves, slaying a dragon, even confronting the Slamurg.
Those labors sound incredibly challenging.
Oh, yeah.
It's fascinating how these trials mirror other epic traditions.
Right.
Like Hercules' 12 labors.
Exactly.
These heroic journeys across cultures
Mm-hmm.
speak to a universal desire for stories of courage and self-discovery.
Mm-hmm.
But even with his triumphs,
Yes.
Isfandiar's story takes a tragic turn.
Yeah, it does.
His loyalty to his father leads to a fateful confrontation with Rustam.
Oh, yeah.
Not another tragic clash.
I know.
How does this conflict arise?
Gushtasp, perhaps driven by insecurity or a lust for power, demands that Isfandiar capture Rustam in exchange for the throne.
Oh, wow.
It's a manipulative act that forces Isfandiar into a terrible predicament.
That's a tough position to be in.
It is.
What does Isfandiar do?
Torn between duty and respect for Rustam, he attempts to reason with the legendary hero, urging him to surrender peacefully.
So noble.
But Rustam, valuing his freedom, refuses to be taken captive.
So this clash of titans is inevitable. Oh, man.
The battle between Rustam and Isfandiar is one of the Shahnameh's most tragic and emotionally charged moments, highlighting the devastating consequences of pride and ambition.
This is also gripping, but I'm also getting a sense of foreboding.
Yeah.
I can't imagine this clash ending well.
You're right to be concerned.
Okay, good.
The Shahnameh masterfully builds tension and foreshadows tragedy.
Oh, boy.
We'll delve deeper into the consequences of this battle and explore its ripple effects on the epic's grand narrative when we continue our deep dive next time.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
We left off with the impending clash between Rustam and Isfandiar, a battle orchestrated by King Gushtasp's ambition and fueled by the promise of the throne.
Yes.
What happens when these two legendary heroes collide?
It's a clash that neither hero desires, but honor and duty compel them to fight. The battle rages for days.
Wow.
Each warrior demonstrating incredible strength and skill.
I can imagine.
But neither gaining a decisive advantage.
I can only imagine the tension of that fight.
Oh, yeah.
The weight of their destinies hanging in the balance.
It's a tough one.
What ultimately tips the scales?
The Singmerg.
Oh, Bram.
Remember the mythical bird who raised Rustam?
Yes.
She intervenes once more.
Okay.
She reveals Isfandiar's one weakness.
Oh, what's that?
His eyes.
His eyes.
Vulnerable to a specific weapon.
Interesting.
Armed with this knowledge, Rustam reluctantly fires a poisoned arrow.
Oh, wow.
Striking Isfandiar in the eye.
Right in the eye.
Yeah, fulfilling a prophecy foretold earlier in the epic.
So even the greatest heroes are bound by fate.
It seems that way.
Their destinies shaped by forces beyond their control. What's the aftermath of this tragic battle?
Gushtasp is devastated by the loss of his son.
Oh, wow.
Realizing the terrible price of his ambition and manipulation.
Right. As for Rustam,
he
is haunted by the knowledge that he killed a hero he respected.
Right.
A man forced into battle by a manipulative father.
That's a tough one.
It's a poignant reminder that victory in the Shahnameh is rarely straightforward.
Yeah.
It's often tinged with sorrow and the weight of unintended consequences.
Precisely.
The Shahnameh doesn't shy away from depicting the complex realities of war.
No, it doesn't.
And the enduring impact of difficult choices.
Right.
But the epic moves forward.
It does.
Chronicling the reigns of later kings like Bahman and Darab, who struggled to uphold the legacy of their predecessors.
They do have some big shoes to fill.
So that sense of decline sets in.
Yeah, I think so.
Is the golden age of Persia fading?
Yes. There's a palpable shift in the narrative.
Okay.
We move from an era of mythical heroes and fantastical creatures to a period marked by human failings and political instability.
Wow, so different.
Yeah.
Culminating in the conquest of Persia by Alexander the Great, known as Sikander in the Shahnameh.
Exactly.
Alexander.
Again.
Here's where myth and history truly collide.
They do.
How does the Shahnameh portray this historical figure?
Interestingly, Alexander isn't depicted as a purely villainous conqueror.
Oh, that's interesting.
While ambitious and ruthless, he is also shown to possess some admirable qualities.
Okay, like what?
Like a respect for learning.
Interesting.
And a desire to understand the cultures he conquers.
That's a surprisingly nuanced portrayal.
Yeah.
Especially considering he's an outsider conquering Persia.
Yeah, but it speaks to the Shahnameh's ability to present multiple perspectives, even on historical figures typically seen as adversaries. The epic acknowledges Alexander's military prowess.
Of course.
But also hints at the eventual fragmentation of his vast empire.
So Alexander's conquest doesn't signal the absolute end of Persia.
It doesn't.
But rather a transition to a new era.
Exactly.
The Shahnameh frames Alexander's victory within its cyclical understanding of history.
Yeah, you could say that.
Empires rise and fall. Rulers come and go.
Of course.
But the spirit of Persia, its values and traditions, endure. And speaking of enduring figures, remember Kai Khosrau?
Oh yeah, what about him?
who mysteriously vanished earlier in the epic.
Right.
Yes, I was wondering what happened to him.
Yeah.
Does he reappear?
He does.
He does.
After Alexander's conquest,
Wow.
we see the return of Kai Khosrau,
Okay.
now a descendant of Kai Kobad,
Right.
ruling justly and wisely.
Good.
But his story takes another mystical turn when he chooses to renounce his earthly possessions
Oh, wow.
and embark on a spiritual quest.
A spiritual quest.
Yeah,
That's unexpected.
I know, right?
Where does this quest lead him?
He leads his most trusted companions into the wilderness towards a mysterious fountain.
A fountain?
A symbol shrouded in ambiguity.
What could it be?
Some interpret it as representing spiritual awakening, the transcendence of earthly concerns, while others see it as a metaphor for death.
Oh, wow.
The ultimate journey into the unknown.
That's certainly open to interpretation.
It is.
What becomes of Kai Khosrau on this mysterious quest?
He vanishes without a trace.
Oh, wow.
Leaving his kingdom vulnerable to decline before the eventual Arab conquest that brings the Sassanid Empire to an end.
So that's really it for them.
Pretty much.
It's a fittingly enigmatic conclusion for a ruler whose story is interwoven with both earthly power and spiritual seeking.
Right.
It sounds like the Shahnameh is reminding us that even the most powerful rulers are subject to fate and the ever-turning wheel of history.
Exactly.
The epic doesn't offer easy answers or simplistic happy endings.
No, it's more complex than that.
It reflects the complexities of life, the ebb and flow of power, and the enduring presence of both the material and the spiritual.
Exactly.
So we've reached the end of the epic's narrative.
We have. What now? Well, we simply close the book and move on.
Not quite.
Okay.
The Shahnameh's influence extends far beyond the final page.
It has shaped Persian art, literature, and culture for centuries.
Wow.
Leaving a legacy that continues to resonate today.
Okay, now we're talking.
Right.
I'm eager to explore this lasting impact.
Okay, let's do it.
How has the Shahnameh shaped the cultural landscape of Persia and beyond?
Just imagine the impact of a work that has been recited, studied, and cherished for over 1,000 years.
That's a long time.
It is.
Its stories and characters are woven into the very fabric of Persian identity. Paint me a picture of this cultural influence.
Okay.
What are some tangible examples?
Imagine walking through a Persian bazaar, hearing storytellers recount the heroic feats of Rustam, their voices rising and falling with the drama of the tale.
I can hear it.
Or picture visiting a mosque or palace.
Okay.
Its walls adorned with intricate tile work depicting scenes from the epic.
Okay, that's vivid.
Yeah.
It's like the Shahnameh provides a visual and oral language for expressing Persian identity.
You got it.
Its influence is visible everywhere, from miniature paintings and illustrated manuscripts to grand frescoes and architectural motifs.
That's right.
And it's not just about visual representation.
No.
What else is there?
Think about the power of music and poetry.
Okay.
Traditional Persian music often incorporates melodies inspired by the Shahnameh. And its verses are woven into countless poems and songs, keeping the spirit of the epic alive through sound.
So the Shahnameh isn't just a static text on a shelf.
No.
It's a living, breathing entity.
Right.
It continues to inspire and influence across generations.
Exactly.
And its influence extends beyond the borders of Persia.
It does.
It's been translated into numerous languages, captivating readers and artists worldwide.
I'm not surprised.
I can see why the Shahnameh's themes are universal. The struggle between good and evil, the allure and danger of power, the complexities of love and loss.
Absolutely.
These are stories that resonate with everyone.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it such an important work.
Yeah.
Not just for understanding Persian culture, but also for reflecting on the human experience as a whole.
Exactly.
It's all incredibly fascinating.
I know, right?
But before we get too carried away, I think we need to take a step back and recap what we've covered so far in this deep dive.
That's good.
We started by exploring the Shahnameh's grand narrative, tracing the mythical and historical reigns of Persian kings from creation to the Arab conquests.
And long one.
We encountered heroes like Rustam and Isfandiar, witnessed their triumphs and tragedies, and grappled with the epic's profound themes of fate, duty, and the cyclical nature of history.
Those are some big themes.
We then began to uncover the Shahnameh's lasting legacy. Its influence on Persian art, literature, and culture.
It's everywhere.
Okay, that's a great summary.
Thanks.
But we've only scratched the surface of this literary treasure.
Yeah, we have.
There's still so much more to explore. So many layers to unpack.
Exactly.
The final part of our deep dive.
Okay.
We'll delve deeper into the Shahnameh's lasting impact.
Okay.
Its relevance for contemporary readers and the ways it continues to inspire and challenge us today.
That's good.
Stay tuned. We've explored the epic sweep of the Shahnameh, its heroes, its heart-wrenching tragedies, and its profound influence on Persian culture.
It's quite a story.
But what makes this ancient text relevant to us today in the 21st century?
Well, that's the beauty of a work like the Shahnameh.
Okay.
While rooted in a specific time and place, it grapples with universal themes that transcend cultural boundaries.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's a mirror reflecting the complexities of the human experience, regardless of when or where we live.
So it's more than just a historical artifact or a cultural touchstone. It's a source of timeless wisdom and insight.
Precisely.
Think about the challenges we face today.
Okay.
Conflicts fueled by ambition and ideology.
Right.
The struggle for justice and equality.
Yep.
The search for meaning in a world that often feels chaotic and uncertain.
I feel that.
These are the same challenges that the heroes and villains of the Shahnameh grapple with,
Yeah.
albeit in a different context.
For sure.
Can you give me a specific example of how the Shahnameh speaks to contemporary issues?
Consider the epic's exploration of leadership.
Okay.
The Shahnameh presents different models of kingship, from the wise and just reign of Khosrow
Right.
to the tyrannical rule of Zohak.
Yeah, we saw how different those were.
It reminds us that true leadership isn't about brute force or personal gain, but about serving the people, upholding justice, and fostering a harmonious society.
That's a message that resonates deeply in a world where we see so many examples of corrupt or self-serving leadership.
Exactly.
I see what you mean.
The Shahnameh invites us to reflect on what constitutes true leadership.
Right.
The qualities that make a ruler just and worthy of respect.
Yeah.
It encourages us to hold our leaders accountable to demand more from those in positions of power.
So it's not just a passive reflection on the past, but a call to action, a guide for navigating the challenges of the present.
Absolutely.
The Shahnameh is filled with stories of courage, resilience, and the pursuit of justice.
So many good stories.
It reminds us that even in the face of adversity, we have the power to make choices.
We do.
To stand up for what's right.
Absolutely.
And to strive for a better world.
I like that.
I'm also struck by the epic's emphasis on personal responsibility.
Oh, yeah.
Characters like Rustam,
right,
despite their heroic feats, are forced to confront the consequences of their actions, even when those actions are unintentional.
It's true.
Like with Sohrab.
Yes, exactly.
That's a crucial point.
It is.
The Shahnameh doesn't shy away from depicting the complexities of human nature.
Yeah.
The potential for both good and evil that resides within each of us.
That's always there.
It reminds us that our choices have consequences, and that we must be accountable for the impact of our actions, even when we make mistakes.
Every action has a reaction.
It's a sobering thought, but also an empowering one.
Yeah, I agree.
It means we have the capacity to learn from our mistakes, to grow, and to strive for greater wisdom and compassion.
Exactly.
The Shahnameh doesn't offer easy answers or simplistic moral judgments.
Nope. It's more complex than that.
It challenges us to think critically, to wrestle with ethical dilemmas, and to strive for a more just and compassionate world.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Okay, I'm convinced the Shahnameh isn't just an ancient text.
No way.
It's a living, breathing source of wisdom and inspiration relevant to our lives today.
I completely agree.
But before we wrap up this deep dive, I have to ask.
Sure.
What's your biggest takeaway from this epic journey?
That's a tough one.
What's the one message you want our listeners to carry with them?
If I had to choose one message, it would be this.
Okay, ready.
Despite the darkness and the tragedies depicted in the Shahnameh, there's an underlying current of hope.
Okay.
A belief in the enduring power of the human spirit to overcome adversity.
I like that. The epic reminds us that even in the face of lost betrayal and the ever-turning wheel of fate, there's always the possibility for redemption, for growth, and for the triumph of good over evil.
That's a beautiful message to end on.
Thanks.
It's a reminder that even in the midst of chaos and uncertainty, we can choose to act with courage, compassion, and a belief in a brighter future.
I like that.
Well, folks, that concludes our deep dive into the Shahnameh.
It was a good one.
We've explored its myths, its heroes, its profound themes, and its enduring legacy.
So much good stuff.
We hope this journey has inspired you to seek out this literary treasure and discover its magic for yourselves.
I hope so, too.
Until next time, keep those pages turning and keep exploring the boundless realms of literature.